been so open, and just even now in talking to me about fighting for your parents, sticking up for your parents, telling us all what they've been going through. What is your biggest wish for them at this moment?
Right now, in this moment, I just hope for peace and clarity, but also looking forward to our appeal April 19th and hoping that the outcome of that, clearly there were such serious errors that an appeals court has ruled that, hey, we want to hear you out. We want to hear what happened. So obviously I hope to have them home, maybe later in the summer, depending on how long it takes for the appellate court to rule. But that's my hope. I don't like to plan too far out because I just hope by then they're home.
We've seen you working on fighting the system. I wonder now, does it make you think like maybe you have a second act, an attorney, or like, you know what I'm saying?
So I spoke at an event in Washington, D.C., and obviously I've thought about this throughout the past year and a half of just how hard I've been fighting for my parents and how I've had to educate myself on the system and laws. And when I spoke at this event in DC, a lawyer actually said, hey, so when are you going to law school? Because you would be one hell of a lawyer. And it really did inspire me. And now Grayson's going off to college, so he's trying to convince me to go to college with him. So it's never too late. That's one thing I'm realizing, is it's never too late to follow your dreams. And if I can become a lawyer by the time I'm 30, 32, then I may just do it.
Would you do that? Are you considering going to college with Grayson?
If my mom comes home, I have told Grayson that I would do it. So if mom comes home, and obviously it'll be she and Chloe, or if mom and dad both come home, then I would most certainly go back to school and try to become a lawyer.
You've been talking a lot too about how difficult it has been for your parents and the treatment that they've been getting while they've been, incarcerated. So how important is it for you to continue to be their advocate? Is that job number one for you?
Well, number one would definitely be just the mental health and safety of the two kids, because that means more to me than anything else in the world. But also not only being an advocate for my parents, but the over 2 million people that are incarcerated today. And I didn't know any better. I was so tone deaf to the system, it didn't impact me. So I didn't really pay attention to it. And now that I'm seeing it firsthand, like I know too much to not do something about it. And that's why it's so important for me to really try to help educate other people, to open your eyes to something bigger than yourself.
So you said you wanted to do this show because you wanted to have fun again. Did you achieve that?
Yeah, so I did. I think the main reason I wanted to do this show was, first off, my parents can watch it. So I wanted them to be able to watch it and still feel like they're part of our life. But also I've realized the importance of not taking life so serious, especially with 2 kids now. I don't want them as hard on themselves as I have been. So I wanted to show them like, hey, go out, be uncomfortable, like make fun of yourself, laugh at yourself. Like nothing is ever so serious.
To have my mom call me and to hear her laugh because she heard me on The Masked Singer literally made my entire life.
How did that make you feel, knowing that your mom watched it, number one, and her reaction, and number two, have you talked to your dad? Was your dad able to see it?
I don't believe my dad was able to see it, but when she called me after and was just dying laughing, I was like, you know what? This is why I did it. It was all worth it because she's in such a dark place.
Right.
And this brought her laughter and joy, and just, I can hear her laugh right now, and her laugh is like the greatest laugh on earth. So it made it all worth it.
Well, I can imagine that it did something for you too. I mean, being able to share a lighthearted moment with your mom again after everything that you guys have been going through the past couple years.
Without a doubt. I mean, it made my heart so happy. So like I said, that made all my terrible singing worth it.
Listen, that little Chloe is so funny, and she keeps you honest. I love when she teases you. So what did Chloe have to say about your performance in this?
That I should never do it again, and that it was cringy. It was cringy, apparently.
You didn't get any cool points for being on The Masked Singer?
No. Nope. She was like, do not do that ever again.
My life over the past year has changed drastically. Now I have custody of my 15-year-old brother and 10-year-old sister. So if I can teach them anything, it's take every opportunity that comes your way and don't back down.
You were really candid on the show. I mean, you talked a lot about your strength and how your world came crashing down around you and how you had to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think, transparency is huge. And if I could be just vulnerable and transparent about my life and the things that I'm going through, then hopefully it can impact at least one person. And if it does that, then everything that we've gone through is worth it.
I think one of the things that stuck out to me that you said was that you felt like you were left alone to pick up the pieces of your life and other people's lives. Looking at the last few months of your life in your family, what has been the most challenging part for you?
Gosh, just trying to do it all. I mean, raising a 17-year-old and an 11-year-old is a full-time job, but also working and trying to provide a life for them, as well as fighting day in and day out with lawyers to get my parents home. So I have work plus kids plus fighting for my parents. So having all of those things and doing it with very little help is really tough.
I know, was this your way to have a little fun? Because it's gotta be so heavy knowing that you have to do it all. And you need a release too. You need a break too.
Yes, this was. I mean, it was fun. I got to go out to LA and I got to just enjoy my time. And this was a big thing for me because I take life so serious and I'm always on the defense. I'm always fighting. I'm always fighting to, for a better outcome. And this was kind of me proving to myself, hey, you can have fun. You can laugh at yourself. Like, don't ever forget to laugh at yourself, because when you do, life just becomes so tense and depressing.
Well, laughing at yourselves is the reason I think so many people fell in love with your family, is that you're a very self-deprecating family and you all never really took yourselves too serious. What do you think the biggest misconception is about your family, and what do you hope to clear up by being on a show like this and being so open and being so vulnerable?
The biggest misconception I think about my family is that they've done every single thing that these tabloids and these headlines have accused them of doing. And it's just so far from the truth. When we actually sit and read court documents and you see firsthand government misconduct and things of that nature, it really causes you to question things. And I think this image of these greedy, money-hungry, people, that is so far from the truth. I mean, my parents would give the shirt off their back to someone that was in need. And they are just the kindest, most loving, supporting human beings I've ever come in contact with. And that's what I want them to be known for, is their heart and their grace and their love.
What was that talk like when they said, you got to be Chloe's mama now, you got to be Grayson's mama now? What was that conversation?
We didn't necessarily sit down and have that talk. It was just kind of automatically known that I would be the one to do that. And then going and sitting down in attorneys' offices before they left and dealing with the paperwork side of things. But at the end of the day, it's like I tell the kids, like, we're growing up together. Like, the greatest thing I will ever do is growing up, basically helping to raise them. And I'm not their mom, I'm not their dad, I'm still their sister, so I'm not going to do everything perfect, and we have to learn to have grace for each other. And one thing I like to normalize in our household is it's okay to not be okay, especially during the holidays and big life moments. Like, I told Chloe, I was like, if people ask how your holidays were and they weren't good, guess what? Say they sucked. I was like, it's okay to say that. It's okay to validate how you feel. So that's one thing that I just make sure, like, it's okay to not be okay. Let's talk through it, and we're learning together as we go.
Have you had Robert to lean on? Has that been like a saving grace for you? Because, through all this, you have found love.
Robert has been such a great support system. And I think it's just a very adult relationship. He has his own stuff going on. I have my own stuff going on. But we've been able to lean on each other, support each other, and just talk through everything. And I think that's the most important thing, is to have that positive support system and someone who loves and cares about you and your kids and the outcome of everything. I mean, he has just been such an amazing support system for Grayson too. And so for that, I'm so grateful.
Chloe, what did he think of the Afghan Hound and the performance?
Oh gosh, well, he actually came with me when I filmed that, and he was there throughout the whole thing, and it was hilarious because he was like, "You did so good, like, way to go, you did great." I was like, no, I did not do great. Like, I sounded awful. And he was like, no, you did great. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to keep you around because you are just like as positive as can be.
Well, if Kevin Hart set the bar, I mean, I think you did just fine.
So why can't I turn off the radio? Wait.
Kevin Hart, hey, when it comes to Kevin Hart, Chloe for career day, she went to school and everyone wants to be doctors and lawyers. And Chloe said she wanted to be Kevin Hart. So.
I love that. I love that. That Chloe, she can be anything she wants to be. That little girl slays me. She does. We know that your dad was a little rocky on meeting Robert. Has your mom met him yet? And how did that go?
Yes, so she has met him and it was great. We had the best conversation. We got to sit, laugh, talk, because at the end of the day, life still goes on, even though they're not here. And it's different. My dad, like, he is so excited to meet Robert. I think it's just a male thing and a pride thing of just not wanting him to, my dad not wanting Robert to see him that way, which I totally understand. So mom has met him, dad has not, but mom loves him, and that's kind of where we're at.